Well, I resigned from the department. I didn't get to retire after January 6th. First of all, isn't it ironic how Donald Trump's response to not having the National Guard on January 6th was he didn't have authority over them? Magically, now he has the authority over the National Guard. Donald Trump pardoned all those people from January 6th because they committed crime or acts of violence in his name. And he felt like, oh, okay, I need these people around. They were useful idiots, in my opinion. And that's what Donald Trump views them as, useful idiots.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we could get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you're going straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan. Really delighted to be joined by retired police officer Harry Dunn. You were there on January 6 years ago, fighting off a mob of Trump supporters, an insurrectionist, and have been fighting the good fight ever since for accountability, justice. We know that those insurrectionists were pardoned, and now advancing 4 years later, you have President Trump basically invading Washington, D.C., where you were a police officer, sending the National Guard in. We've covered it. Checkpoints that kind of look, like military checkpoints. Seems to be arresting often Black residents for things like traffic violations, agents in masks, and essentially a really eerie, in our view, visuals of military at Union Station and elsewhere. As a police officer who, started dealing with this years ago on January 6th, what's your response to Trump's, I would call it, invasion of D.C. and the threats he is now threatening Chicago and Memphis next?
Well, Donald Trump has long thought of himself as above the law. He can do no wrong. Nothing he ever did, he would take no blame, no criticism. And he only wants people around, and he only aligns people that will serve him. And National Guard is not a municipal organization that deals with local policing and everything like that. So how long are we going to sustain this? This is kind of like a Band-Aid over something that may require surgery. So let's look at the bigger picture and find out, how do we sustain safe communities? So that's the thing. Like, he's doing this to, obviously, to rage people, also to get people upset, to see the protests that have seen.
And can you talk about, obviously you're retired, I'm sure you still talk to folks currently in service. What would it be like for you, and what's it like for those still police officers being asked to assist ICE, being asked to assist the National Guard? I mean, you got to put food on the table, but what's it like morally, and also based on the legality, which I think is questionable, being asked basically to, be sidekicks to an ICE National Guard invasion?
Yeah, well, first of all, I resigned from the department. I didn't get to retire, but a lot of officers that I know are they feel very conflicted. On one hand, they know that they're targeting people and this is wrong. On the other hand, they have families and they have bills to pay and they have jobs to do. So they listen. I get it. I get the conflict. Well, that's one of the reasons why I left the department. Not because I felt like we were given unlawful orders, but I realized this strain that is on between the good policing and the communities.
Is that what you signed up for?
The bad actors, the few bad actors that are police officers that only care about themselves and not actually creating and sustaining safe communities and being public servants. So I think it's, listen, I would like to believe that those are few and far between, but they do exist in police departments. And Donald Trump gave them cover. Doing the president literally said, "Do whatever the hell you want to do." That's dangerous, that is inflammatory, and that is extremely dangerous. And it's unfortunate because people are now looking at the National Guard with the same disdain they had for police in areas where police oftentimes abuse their authority. And the cost of the National Guard, as I've seen some reports, were upwards of $1 million a day. So what? Like, how about some opportunities? And I'm not an elected official. How about some opportunities? They were cleaning up homeless camps. How about give those individuals jobs? How about, hey, let's clean up the community? How about some community outreach stuff like that? Crime was also trending down before the National Guard even started. So let's look at how what made those programs happen. What made crime go down? What are we doing that actually started the downward trend? Hey, let's invest more money to that. People are not against safe communities. We're not against doing the work to make sure our community stays safe. However, the way that he's going about doing it is not sustainable. He's trying to scare his way into safe communities. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. So it's really frustrating to see that. Listen, Donald Trump pardoned all those people on January 6th because they committed crime or acts of violence in his name. And he felt like, oh, okay, I need these people around. They were useful idiots, in my opinion. And that's what Donald Trump views them, as useful idiots.
Speaking of useful idiots, I know you ran as a Democrat, but in my view, the Democratic Party, I mean, we don't have an hour, but Chuck Schumer agreed to, Trump's and the Republicans' budget. A lot of people felt that was normalizing this behavior. A lot of people would like to see a daily press conference from Democrats responding to this. There's a lot of issues in addition to corruption, which I won't get into. But what are your thoughts as far as the Democratic response to this? Because it just seems like the Democratic leadership seems to still be operating like it's 1996.
Well, the biggest thing is we can't normalize this. And that's one of my biggest messages, that like having the National Guard walking around with military style rifles and AR-15s or M4s, they are walking. We cannot normalize this. Once we normalize it, we stop to care about it. We stop caring about it. And even if it is illegal, we just say, oh, yeah, the National Guard's here. Oh, we got to watch out. No, this is not okay. We cannot accept this as normal. We need to continue to fight back. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are helpless. What can we do? Let's do something. And the something that they're asking for is not capitulating to Donald Trump and his administration, standing up for the people who put the Democrats in office. And that's their job right now, to fight, stand up and fight. And obviously, I'm metaphorically speaking. It's kind of even sad that we have to, qualify that when we say fight. But unfortunately, we're living in a world now where oftentimes words are taken literal. But they need to stand up and push back and show a little spine and stand up for the people who are being affected by this I don't even call it administration. I would say we're in regime territory right now.